Welcome to the second video of my observational series. Here we have a bit longer lens with 85 millimeters and look into the twins, the Gemini. Here you can see Castor and Pollux, and a bit more south is actually Jupiter. And Gemini is still quite a typical winter constellation, but now we will turn a little bit and look at some of the spring constellations. We will stay in the ecliptic. Here we can see the Cancer quite well. I will try to move it in the middle of the image, like now. There is an open cluster in the middle of the Cancer. Otherwise the Cancer is a very small constellation, and in not so good nights you don't see it at all. This night is actually quite nice. Good for videos. And moving along the ecliptic, we come to the Lion, but I can't show you the whole Lion in once at this focal length I have. But here, more or less in the whole image from the bottom middle to the top right, there's this hook, or like in a mirrored question mark where the dot is the brightest star. That's the head of the Lion. Lion is quite an interesting constellation with many galaxies. Some of them are bright and some of them are not so bright. And this is the star Algeba, which I can recommend you when you have a telescope, because it's a very lovely double star. And now we go to the hind leg of the Lion. Hope I can find it. It's here. It's just this triangulum, bright triangulum that you can see. And then, going further to the left, actually I could try to find Coma Berenices, which is a bit higher. Here is Coma Berenices. It's more or less a star cluster, but as you may know, there are very many galaxies in Coma Berenices, but also in the constellation south of it, which is Virgo. This is the head of Virgo, this is the shoulder, and this is the foot with Spica, one of the very few star names that are in Latin, Spica. And Spica is on a curve. When you take the Big Dipper and prolong its tail, you first reach Arcturus and then Spica. And this, I can't really show you that now, but I will try to go in the reversed direction and find the brightest star from Bootes, which is here in the middle, called Arcturus, which more or less means Arctic star, North Star, which is a star of almost exactly 0 magnitudes brightness. And this is the rest of the Bootes, its head, or I don't know. This is close to where the I'll tell you later. And a bit on the east side is the Crown. The Crown is well known among amateur astronomers because a nova could happen in there. I think it hasn't happened yet. And the main star of the Crown here is called Gemma. And in the old days, on top of the Bootes, there was the constellation of Quadrans. It's not official anymore. And the Quadrans is where the Quadrantid meteor shower comes from. And now we'll have a short look at Lyra, which is already a summer constellation, very close to the Milky Way. I'm not quite sure if that brightness you see is already the Milky Way or not, because it's also the sky above Zurich, which tends to be very bright. And here is actually Deneb from the Swan, which marks the tail from the Swan. And the Swan is more or less in the middle of the Milky Way. And this is the head of the Swan, Albireo, which is also a very nice double star in color. Now this was the little tour with a bit longer focal length than I had before. And thanks a lot for the attention.